Alright, what is up, guys? So we're gonna try to stream again today. Yesterday it was pretty crappy, buffering a whole lot. So we're gonna try again today. I tried to change a couple settings. I don't know what's going on. YouTube keeps giving me warnings that the resolution is too high, but I put it all the way down to like 480, and I don't know. It was still saying the same thing, so I bumped it back up to 1080p. So we will see. Uh, we got a big list today on our watch list. DCAR, I already took a trade on, took a $140 loss. I got in at like 109 and sold at 102. And there was a little bit of buffering. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe because there's so many people at home on the internet. But anyways, we're going to see. I don't know. It's annoying. Anyways, so let's pull up the watch list real quick. I don't even have all the stuff on the watch list. So A and Y, we're going to be watching. It's got news. So DCAR, we just went over. I'll be watching. It doesn't have news. It's just up. DIRV, that's not something I'm particularly watching. POAI, it has COVID news, so I'm definitely going to be watching that for over $2. RVP was, been a top gainer the past couple days. I'm going to be watching it. If it breaks 482, I'm going to be waiting for a $5 break. If it breaks 5, I'm definitely going to be interested. MDGS, I need to put that on here. MDGS. Boom. I think it's got news or something, but XRF is my main watch today, so market's going to open up now, right now. So I'm going to put the audio over to Sean Deckmar, and happy trading, everyone.
Market, there is the bell. We are ready to rock. I don't have any. Let's see where this is going to. What stock's going to be shooting on up? What stock's going to be getting that big time rip and run, and where that big time hype's going to be at? Little sign up turf trader. Make sure if you're putting an alert, you're always putting the ticker after it. We always want to just be watching that. Right now, I'm watching to see what stocks come up on the high of the day momentum scanner. Little sign note, ANY did get a little bit of a pop on this high of the day momentum scanner as well. So again, still want to just keep my eyes peeled over there to see if that gets any sort of volume and if that stock starts creeping its way on up whatsoever. Right now, staying smart, staying ready to rock and roll. I am not in any morning, currently not in on anything at this time. Staying smart, waiting for our first play of the day. XRF, I will put in some orders starting off, probably back down towards around 180 over on XRF if it ever had a quick pullback and a quick crack. So starting off, it'd probably be a quick little entry at around 180 just for a small little bounce play. And then from there, it would be looking down towards around that 150-ish mark. So we're ready to rock and roll for today. I'm excited to see what today is going to bring. Right? I'm excited to see what today is going to bring. I'm excited to see where the action's going to be going. See if any of these stocks are really going to start ripping or running. Right now on the high of the day momentum scanner, what do we have? We have RTTR that had a little bit of hype. That was a top gainer yesterday. You guys remember RTTR? That's had the only stock with a 20 count break so far. So the only stock with a 20 count break has been RTTR. RTTR. I'm going to put that on the bottom level too. Keep an A and Y on watch on my other level 2. XRF right now, watching for, again, quick pullback to 180 for a quick fill. And then we can also look all the way down towards around 150, which would be a nice fill also. So right now, XRF, that's still where a lot of that momentum's at. We got POAI. What's that? POAI starting to drop. All right, cool. So it's nice that we can start crossing off some stocks right now, right? We can cross off a little bit of POAI right now. That doesn't really have too much hype. We have XRF right now, which again has a lot of good hype. That has a lot of good momentum. Still looking for a little bit of a low bounce play real quick to see if we can be able to get filled on that stock. So XRF right now, that stock's still trying to move. 180 would be a nice little entry. 150 is the absolute bottom entry. What did I talk about? yesterday during my dip buying strategy. That if you don't get filled, you can't lose any money. If you get filled, we're going to be so low near the bottom that the stock is only going to be able to go up. So right now, I still like right around that 180, 185 mark. I'm not chasing these areas right here, but if you are on the long side, what's the target? If you are on the long side, what's the target? $3. So $3 is the target, as traders could easily see this thing continue to spike all the way on up. How many shares would I look to buy at around 180? Probably like 6,000 to 8,000. Probably like 6,000 to 8,000 shares, something along those lines. Get a nice 20-cent pop right there. Be able to make maybe a grand or two. So XRF, this stock right now, beautiful spike. Still looking for that $3 target. So this is continuing to move on up right now. So, and again, this is a pretty cheap play. This is a pretty cheap play. And we're going to see if this is going to be able to hold on up. If this can hold on up and be able to run all the way up towards that $3 mark, that $3 mark is the target, as we already talked about. All these arrows right here just show, again, how strong 150 support is. So 150 support is obviously going to be extremely strong, which we know. But let's get rid of those arrows, and we know this 200-day moving average coming across it of the day. Now, that does not mean, of course, XRF is going to go straight up to that target. So again, be careful, of course, for always some sort of pullback. 230 would be the best entry for some sort of pullback. 230 would be the best entry, as that's the old resistance area. Old resistance will hold up as new support. So right now, XRF starting to have a little bit of a pullback right here. Be careful. And we'll see where this stock is going to be able to, get that big time bounce at. So XRF, again, we got 150 and all the way. I'm still looking all the way back down towards around that 180-ish mark. I still think that would be very nice. MDGS starting to move on up. There are shares available to short on MDGS, but I'm only going to short be putting myself in on on MDGS once again. You guys saw what happened last time. CPSH, small little pop right now. That did have an earnings report towards it. XRF is still my #1 play. And I'm also keeping my eyes peeled, as you guys know, over on ANY to see if ANY is going to try to creep its way on up. So still, again, watching a few different plays here to see if there's going to, where the big time volume and action is going to be. XRF still watching this one for a strong crack back on down. May take some time, but I do think, again, we could definitely see a nice crack, and we could definitely see the stock, start dropping. DCAR. There was no press release today, and there was no filing today. That's the only thing that I think is very iffy about this play. There was no filing. There was no news that I'm seeing. There's nothing I really liked about DCAR. DCAR is a low float stock, broke $1, which is always a good thing. But, I am a little bit more cautious on that play. XRF definitely has a lot more volume towards it. I will put DCAR on the bottom level too, if you guys, of course, are interested at that on that stock of that area. Iggy is looking to play Disney right now. DIS on the long side. So that's an Iggy alert right there. DIS on the long side. Right now, XRF, we're going to be keeping this one on watch. Any sort of higher lows. Atlas, XRF, you could definitely look at the VWAP. I'm just playing, again, pre-market bounce. So again, the VWAP is definitely a nice support line. I'm going a little bit lower. What was the strategy that I talked about earlier? Get filled. I'm usually right next to the bottom, so it doesn't really fall too much anymore. Are you going to see some sort of bounce maybe at the VWAP at 221? Sure. There could definitely be a nice little bounce at 221. Nothing against that whatsoever. I just like playing stocks that I feel a little bit more confident in. XRF has moved up so far 148%, just spiked from $2 all the way up to $260. Would I be surprised if the stock comes back down and maybe gives up, 20% of its gains after spiking 148? No, not at all. So that's why I'm looking more down towards around pre-market support instead. Right now, DCAR up towards around 125 resistance, trying to hold on up. XRF right now, again, here it is testing that VWAP area, and you can see that blue line. The blue line, or excuse me, that black line. That black line's the VWAP area, and notice again when we take a look at this, I'll make it bigger so everyone can see. Let me get rid of this red line. We don't need that right now. Notice again this little lower shadow. Lower shadow comes right down towards around that black line, pops on up. You could get a nice little 10 cents, 12 cents from that little play right there. A $2 stock. Probably even the majority of you guys can afford what? Probably so many of you guys are interested on XRF because the majority of you guys can afford shares on this play. The majority of you guys probably can buy 1,000 shares, maybe 2,000 shares perfectly, because if this stock falls, let's say, and you can get filled and you can get 20 cents out of the stock, you could easily be making $200 to $400 today. So I know a lot of you guys are interested on this play just because it's within your price range. DCAR, also another stock. Again, there is no news on this play. If there's a link of news, please tell me. I personally am not seeing a reason other than a $1 break on why DCAR has volume. But to have this gap up right here, it does make it a little bit odd to see. So right now, just staying smart, waiting for our play. Our play is going to come up, ladies and gentlemen. Our play is going to come on up. We just got to give it some time. I'm also watching ANY, as you guys know, on the back burner, but that stock's not really doing anything right now. So that play's not really doing anything. I was thinking about picking up some small entries on ANY as the stock, maybe climb, but it's not climbing at this moment because there is 1.7 million shares supposedly being bought today. So that's why, or being closed today, which would definitely pump that stock on up in a hard manner. So that's why I am keeping that on my back burner. Right now, we're just watching for XRF to get that nice pullback. DCAR is starting to get the pullback right now. How's MDGS looking? Is MDGS going a little crazy? Having a little bit of resistance. MDGS, obviously, as we know, is a stock that could easily fall on down. It's also a stock that can like to spike really hard, really quickly. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on MDGS. There are shares available to short, of course, over on MDGS also. XRF is holding up at the VWAP at this time. Notice the black line is where the stock is holding on up. The black line is currently everything on this play. What does this black line represent? It represents if the stock is bullish or if the stock is bearish. So as long as the stock holds above this black line, it is the bullish area. If you got a bounce play off the black line, the VWAP, that's awesome. That's a great little area to look at. But what we need to understand, it's not always going to be 100% like that. So if you pulled the trigger right there, awesome work. You 100% deserve the profits that you guys just made. If you didn't and waited for CAPR, trying to get a little action. I see you guys talking about that right now. CAPR needs to break through $8. Like if CAPR can break through $8, we could see the big time rip and run. Let's just change this time frame though for a second. And let's go back to let's say a 30-minute time frame. Look how many times that we have come up to $8 and we just have not been able to break it. We hit $8 here. We have hit $8 here. We have hit $8 here. We broke $8 for a little bit right there. We're still just looking for that $8 break. CAPR, may try to hit that $8 mark once again today, but we have yet to really be able to break through that $8 mark. So again, we can put a little bit of a trend line over over all of yesterday into today, and you can see that we do have a little bit of a trend line on this play, holding it on up, and we'll see if we can get up towards around that $8 mark. But the big issue, of course, with CAPR has been that $8 resistance. DCAR is starting to fall, so I'm going to change that out and put that over towards CAPR right here. So CAPR, XRF new high of the day. That's going to try to get up towards around that XRF new high of the day. That's going to try to get up towards that $3 mark. So that's trying to get a little bit of action. That's trying to get a little bit of activity towards it. So that stock is trying to get some volume. So we have XRF still watching. That I'm still waiting for the strong bounce, which will happen. $3 is going to be the first target. CAPR trying to get up towards around that CAPR is trying to get up towards around that price of $8. And then, as you guys know, I'm keeping my back burner play over on ANY. I am currently not in on anything at this moment, but again, the reason potential towards that play today. If you guys do not know, there was a filing 2 days ago on ANY, came out with an 8K that they stated right here that the company has entered into a security purchase agreement that says that 2 investors are going to be buying 1.7 million shares, 847 shares each, on the date of May 6, 2020. Today is May 6th, 2020. We do have 847,000 shares from each investor coming through today. I mean, that's why, again, I just can't keep my eyes off of it. I just want to see if that's going to get any sort of hype. Now, it is a play that's very low on volume, so it's not going to be a stock that I can say, as I said before, everyone go buy. If you like it, keep it on watch. If you don't like it, you don't need to watch it whatsoever. But I want everyone to be prepared right now when it's 9:43 in the morning if this stock spiked later on throughout the day. So that's why that's so important to me. So right now I'm still watching XRF and keeping our eyes peeled on this. Gavils is bounce play at 225. Smart at this point. 225. Again, a great little area where you should be able to see a small little bounce play. The thing is, if the stock ever started turning and crashing, trends and downtrends, you don't ever want to see it kind of standing still. So what we want to see build right now is more of an uptrend. So where do you think a better bounce would be if this stock is starting to uptrend at this time? It wouldn't be, again, like 225. It would be a little bit higher, more towards around that like 235-ish area. So again, if you see the stock uptrending, you want to see the stock continue to uptrend, which would be, again, maybe looking for a bounce at around 240. 235, somewhere around that area, because the stock keeps going higher and higher. Now, again, if you guys saying, Deck, I want to use your dip buying strategy that you've been using, well, again, you got to wait for a very strong pullback. These very strong pullbacks could be areas, back down towards around the 220 mark or all the way back down towards around the 185-ish mark. Right? Those are kind of the super safe areas at this time. And I can even adjust this a little bit. We could put some light support out around 220, and we could put our bottom support all the way back down towards around this 180-ish mark. Right now, XRF, though, the longs have it. XRF, where do you think it's trying to get up to? People are going to try to push XRF up to that $3 target. That $3 target, the 200-day moving average, is where people want to get this thing to, right? So continue to keep your eyes peeled over there. That's definitely having some nice momentum towards it. That's definitely a play that has some nice hype towards it. That's definitely a stock right now that all eyes are at, right? All eyes are on this. All activities currently towards this play. So that's why, again, keep your eyes peeled over on XRF. We can definitely see a nice bounce play coming on up after it comes up towards $3. But longs have it as of now. Longs have it as of now. $3 target. Watch for, again, bounce play after that. If you want to hop in and maybe try to go for that last little 18 cents, you can definitely do that as well. CAPR, definitely losing a little bit of hype right now on CAPR, not being able to hold on that play at this moment. Right now, Iggy, what do you got for us? DIS. Iggy's shorted DIS at the bottom, and then went long on it. Make sure you guys are watching Iggy's alerts if you guys are interested in some bigger plays. XRF is, of course, the #1 penny stock today. CAPR, we're watching for the possible $8 break. And then we also have MDGS to see if that play is going to be coming on up, along with ANY to see if we're going to see some hype over there. So all things, again, we're just staying smart at this time. Can you short at $3 if your broker has shorts? For sure. XRF, I don't have any shorts available. So locate, you see inventory does not exist. So I do not have any shares available to short on this stock. So I cannot short at that $3 mark over on XRF, excuse me. So let's see, XRF. I'm going to move my one bounce play on up because let's see if we get a strong red candle. Strong red candle, we'll be getting filled down towards the low 230s. So right now, looking for a bounce play, probably at this point, back down towards around the low 230 area. 230 area seems very nice for a nice little bounce play to start getting involved with this play after falling from around the $3 mark. I think that would be a nice area to be able to see a nice little bounce and start getting involved with this stock a little bit. So yeah, so XRF, let's turn off pre-market right now. We don't need pre-market. It's taking up a little bit of room. Switch over to the 1 minute time frame, see this a little bit better. What I'm looking for is a bounce play back down right below support. We have a lot of 230 support. All right, so if you guys do need pre-market to see this, you guys can see right here. We have a lot of 230 resistance, of course, right here, and we're going to be able to see the stock possibly get a very strong red candle back down to 230, then bounce back on up. So that's what we're looking at starting off, because the stock would be going from $3 and then back down towards around this 270 mark. So if we look at this play, where did the stock open up at? Where did the stock open up at? This stock, as of now, opened up at $2. What did the chart tell you from yesterday? If you guys, again, were not here, I went on dip buying lesson telling you guys where to be buying after a stock spikes. If a stock spikes $1, goes from $2 to $3, $2 to $3, what does the chart tell us for our dip buying strategy? If we have a $1 spike, $2 to $3, we look for a dip buy 60 cents below the high, or 60 cents, from that resistance line. Right now, that would bring us back down to what price? 240. 240 would bring us down towards the right price. Since we can look at pre-market and we can see 230 is the main support line, that's probably where we want to go. So right in that area, we can probably split it right in the middle and go right around 235. So we have a spike so far from $2 to $3. Looking at a chart, that's a $1 spike, which means we want to have a 0.60 cent pullback. That's where we want our bounce play. Boom. That's following the dip buy strategy. If you guys were not here, we talked about this whole entire thing. And that, again, very simple and very easy to follow. You do not do it from the start of pre-market. You do it from the start of the day. So there's XRF. There's your $3 touch. JV, that'll be in the video library most likely this weekend. So most likely that'll be in the video library this weekend. So right now, XRF, there is your $3 touch at this time. And they're all trying to fight. Again, that $3 mark is trying to fight right here. That's the 200-day moving average. We know, again, the 200-day moving average is going to be a little bit crazy. 200-day moving average is going to be a little bit tough, going to be a little bit crazy to get above. Again, best pullback area, of course, we're looking for, going to be down towards around the 230-ish area, but you may want to go a little bit higher, maybe like 235 to 240, somewhere in that area. So 235, probably 240 for the strong pullback and the best possible entries to get involved with. So that could be that whole 5-cent area from 235 all the way up towards around that 240 mark, as the stock is definitely trying. Usually we see like a nice 60-cent pullback from the highs after a dollar spike. Good job, Christian. $603. Awesome work. So I like IZEA. Hasn't really been on the watch list. If IZEA starts moving, hey, IZEA's got a nice little green candle right now. Nothing against it. So Jim, nothing against IZEA whatsoever. 75-cent resistance. Break. Start getting interesting right there. Take a little look. MGNX. MGNX. Whoa, nice spike as well over on MGNX. Thank you for the heads up. What's going on over here? This looks like a big float stock that has a ton of volume towards it. MGNX. May 5th, we had a 10Q. Okay, so this is all off of earnings. Interesting. May 6th, yep. So this is all off of earnings, which is a little bit wild. So all off of earnings on MGNX right here. So that's a pretty big spike just off of earnings, because earnings usually don't get that hype. So thank you for throwing that out there, Ahmed. Appreciate it. Let's see here. This is currently halted. What's the float on this thing? 47 million. I was going to say it looks like a bigger float stock. 47 million in float. Did come out its earnings report. Reported it tops its revenues. Okay, so we do have MGNX MGNX with an ER right here. Keeping our eyes peeled on this play. And let's see if there is any sort of shorts towards it. S1, SPCH. I'm not a huge fan of that, and it's kind of like bad timing that I'm saying that, because SPCH, this stock came out with earnings. And most of the time, I'm going to say 9 out of 10 times for penny stock earnings, you do not see any sort of spike. So CPSH came out with the earnings today, and that's why it did have a gap up. But most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, when you have an earnings report, it doesn't really do much. They basically just sit there and sit sideways throughout the whole entire day. Now, why is that kind of bad timing? I say that because MGNX just went ballistic because of earnings. So earnings, most days I kind of cross them off my list. So let's see here. Let's take a look over on MGNX, see if there's any shorts available. We know around that $15 mark. Yep, there are shorts available on MGNX. See, there's an E, which means easy to borrow. Usually when there's a 44 million in float stock, it does become pretty easy to borrow usually. So we'll keep our eyes on MGNX to see if that one spikes up really hard. How high can that one go up to? Let's look at some past chart history pattern. That one's going to have resistance up towards around 1550. 1550-ish. Look at that. Right up towards 1515, 1560. That's going to be where that stock could possibly run up to. MGNX is live right now. So let's actually watch that MGNX, or maybe if that stock starts getting up towards around 1560-ish, that would be a great little short area looking at past chart history pattern. So I'm going to see if that stock, MGNX, could possibly start spiking on up towards around this high up here. And that's just looking at past chart history pattern over on MGNX if this stock ever started taking on off. So MGNX, again, looking at this play, our last area of really strong resistance was right here, this 1550 top. Also a little top, little bottom. And you can see it's a very nice platform right here, right around 1550. So nice platform right around that 1550-ish mark. So that's where I would look for some possible shorts if the stock ever came up towards that area. So if the stock ever came up towards that area, that's where I would see some nice possible shorting opportunities for the stock to fall back down underneath that $15 mark. So right now, we do have a quick little pop up towards 14. Still keeping my eyes peeled, of course, on MGNX, and I'm also keeping my eyes peeled over on XRF. S1, am I using Lightspeeder Pro? Or excuse me, Lightspeeder Pro? Yep, I'm using Lightspeeder Pro. Or Lightspeed Pro, not Speeder. Lightspeed Pro. So right now, I'm still watching MGNX, and I'm also watching a little sign up, guys, XRF. I'm watching XRF for, again, that possible quick crack. As we know, a quick crack back down towards around the 230-ish mark is going to be a nice area for us. So I'm watching XRF, and I do have MGNX shorts right now. I do have MGNX shorts up near 1550. So that's where I'm looking at this moment. But if XRF comes back down towards around the 260s, I'm going to cancel that and put in some orders at around the 230s for a bounce play. So basically what I have right now is, again, my watch list or my game plan right here is XRF looking for a probably right around like a 5K bounce, right? 5,000 share bounce play at to do that 230 to 235 area. And then I'm also looking for MGNX to short at 1550 to, again, like 1575 area. Like that mark, that's kind of where I want to be looking for a short. So that's where I am currently at, with my current plays. And that's, my thought process as of now. Make sure, again, you guys are keeping your eyes peeled on which chat room you guys are posting in. Just a little heads up. Make sure you guys keep alerts chat. Mostly likely that's going to be, just for me. But profits chat, throw them over in profits, and talk chat. You guys can talk it up and throw those alerts as always. So I'm watching MGNX, also watching XRF still for this stock to, start coming back down for a possible crack of that VWAP. Watch for a small bounce off the VWAP, and then you could go ahead and start seeing some nice profit towards it. So right now, staying smart here. Yep, no problem. $3, guys. Does everyone understand why XRF has $3 resistance? So that's pretty an easy sell target, as everyone knows, because XRF 200-day moving average. So that's why, again, XRF, this was such an easy kind of like $3 sell target, because once a stock is up to 210, where do you think buyers are trying to push that? Right? So yeah, so that it's really straightforward. It's really simple that we see XRF right here up towards the 200-day moving average right at that area, because every single time it comes up to that area, that's where again traders sell. The indicators are like gravity. You get sucked towards them, but once you get towards them, that's where people like to dump them on off. Right now, still A and Y has not done anything yet. A and Y has not done anything yet. Right now, I'm still watching for MGNX, and I'm also still watching, of course, for our nice little dip buy and bounce play over on XRF. So XRF, that seems like that may be coming before the possible short. So I'm going to cancel my short orders now. Let's cancel those. We don't need those at this time. And let's start putting back these XRF orders. XRF, anything back down towards around that 230-ish mark, I think would be perfect. So that's where I'm looking. And again, I'm looking for my first trade of the day. Yesterday, I didn't start trading till about what time? Till 10:30, 10:45. I finished my day with $1,800, right? So if you're saying to yourself, "Oh, Deck, I haven't pulled the trigger yet, and I'm 29 minutes long," right? You guys are absolutely good, absolutely fine. 29 minutes in and you haven't traded, that's absolutely fine. You're just waiting for, again, a nice little pullback, right? You're just waiting for the best overall opportunity for yourself. Right now, we are seeing MGNX trying to get a little bit of hype towards it. Watching XRF for the pullback, and I'm also watching, of course, MGNX for that pullback, or MGNX for that spike, and then the pullback. Let's get it. Come on here. The real deal. Do you like that username? Do you like dip buys off the VWAP or prefer stronger pullbacks? It all depends, right? And what do I mean by it depends? It depends on how far away it gets from its VWAP, right? Like for instance, if let's say this black line right here represents the VWAP. So let's say this black line right here represents the VWAP area. Would I like a pullback if the stock goes from here to here, right here? No, I don't like that pullback or that bounce play really too much, right? Where do I like the best bounce play? When the stock goes here to here. That's where I like the biggest bounce play, because then you're going to see this at least, right? So if you can nail, of course, at least, this one, that's going to be the area. But I don't really care for all this stuff down here. All this stuff down here, I don't care for that. So if it's really far away, that's where you can get a little bit of a dip buy. So if you look right here, you got a small little dip buy right here, but that's only because it was a little overextended and not really that overextended. The more overextended you get or farther away from the VWAP, the bigger the bounce is going to be. If you guys were not here yesterday for our dip buy lesson, it was absolutely awesome. I will have that, and it's probably going to be when I have a little bit of time to edit it and put it up into the video library for you guys. Right now, still watching XRF for that little pullback area. Also, side note, MGNX is also trying to come on up right here, which is also, again, as we know, our short soon. So we actually just had a little bit of a spike. So I'm actually, again, still looking for both little plays right here. So that's why, again, I'm still watching this stock for any sort of nice short opportunity towards it. So I am watching MGNX for a possible short. We just came up looking for is just all a past chart history pattern. And that's where I get 99% of my shorts, guys, looking at past chart history pattern. And if we look at past chart history pattern, we can see right here that the stock is going to have a lot of resistance at this area right here, right? There's some resistance. And we can also see right here, we have a lot of resistance, right? And we can also see right back here that this stock has a lot of support. Whoop. And we can also see right here that this stock has a lot of support. And we can also see right here that this stock has a lot of support. So old support holds up as new resistance. Current resistance still holds up as resistance. So that's why I'm looking for MGNX to see if MGNX is going to be able to spike on up towards some highs. And then if it did get up towards around that 1550 mark, that's where I can get filled real quick before the stock starts coming back on down. So still looking for that quick pop on up, and then I'll be able to short that stock on the way back on down. So I'm still looking at that. Also, XRF is looking for a watch that bounce play soon. Deck, which one would you rather do? Would you rather do the MGNX short that's starting to come on up, or would you rather do the XRF bounce? Personally, I'm going to be looking a little bit more for the short play over on MGNX, just because it has a little bit more, I would say, like price range, which means what? MGNX so far has gone from $8 all the way up towards around $15.20 so far. So with that being said, if I get 230 back up towards around 245. So if you have the funds, you can make a couple quicker bucks, of course, over on MGNX because there's going to be more money to be made. Right now, MGNX, I did not get filled on this play yet. I did not get filled up on this play. We did just come up towards around, I believe, 1550-ish. So we just hit 1550. I need to see a couple shares. What did I get? Only 309? Give me a couple more. I'm trying to get more on this one. Oh man, I was trying to. I only had the 1,000 shares. That's not what I wanted. Or excuse me, I only had 100 shares. You ever see Lightspeed sometimes does that? So actually, let me get rid of these real quick. I'm actually looking for 1,000 shares. I was not looking for only 309 shares. Let's see how high this thing possibly goes up towards real quick, though. It might be able to do me a favor for the moment. So let's see here. Right now, the stock, of course, has a lot of buyers towards it, a lot of sellers towards it. I'm looking for this best area for this nice little. I'm only, again, 300 shares on the short side right now because I actually thought I had 3,000 shares on, or excuse me, 3,000 shares on the short side. It was only 300. So that was a little bit of my mistake right there. So I want to see if we can get a quick little pop on up real quick where I can get filled once again. So I really don't want this to drop yet. I want to pop on up maybe one more time so I can get filled. And then I can go ahead and make some nice money. Little Sino XRF is starting to fall. So right now you can see it keeps hitting that 1550 mark. Keeps hitting that 1550 mark. Now, if this fell all below $15, you know, that's still a great little area, of course, to be able to make like $150. But yeah, that was, oh, see, look at that. Dang it. You know, I'll take this money right here. I'll take this gain there. So dang, that was my mistake right there to see that I got the wrong amount of shares. I should be up almost about, you know, $1,500 right now. So that was my mistake. So I'm just going to probably limit or market order these out right here. 309. Let's see again, a little bit of a drop, see if that's going to come back on down. Or if it does pop on up, then hey, I'll look for that from there. So I do think, again, this is going to be, you know, getting